My beautiful people, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time joining us in this channel, you're most definitely welcome. Please don't hesitate to subscribe. And for those who have been here for the past how many months, I think it's been more than 6 months now, thank you very much for staying. I know I've been away for some time now on YouTube, but I'm back. Today we are going to talk about IELTS, the English language proficiency test. That is one of the approved proficiency tests by the Home Office of United Kingdom. So most of my DMs, I have realized that people are looking into the format, how long it takes, and what is the structure of IELTS. So that is what we are going to dissect today. Now, don't forget to like the video, share it with your loved ones, and subscribe. Subscribe. So with me, I have this notepad. There is everything in here, like too many points. I don't want to miss anything, so don't mind me looking down. I'll be looking into my notes. So IELTS is an English proficiency test that has been approved by the Immigrations Office. You can use this English proficiency test if you want to migrate into UK, if you want to come for studying, for work, or joining your family. So if you are above 18 years old and you want to come and join your family members, you will have to prove that you can be able to communicate in English. Therefore, you are requested to write IELTS. So IELTS has subsections, if I may say so, or types. So there is an academic type, there is also general type. So the general type is mostly used by people who come to study undergraduate degree, primary level or secondary level. But if you are coming for tertiary education or you are coming for work, you are required to take the academic version of IELTS. So without wasting more time, IELTS has 4 modules into it, which will be testing English on listening. Like, it will be testing your skills in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So for listening, reading, writing, those you are going to write them without break in between. So if you start with listening, and then when you finish that one, you get into reading. When you finish reading, you get into writing. There's no break in between this. And if when you book, there would be an option to take speaking test before you can do the other 3 modules, or you can do speaking after you have done other 3 modules, or you can do speaking the same day you are doing this other 3 modules. So all in all, generally, IELTS total time takes up to 2 hours 45 minutes. That is the overall time. But for listening module, the total time is 40 minutes. However, in this 40 minutes, 30 minutes of total time for listening, you will be listening to a tape. This tape, okay, before you listen, you're going to be provided with headphones or earphones, and each one of you will be listening to the same tape at the same time, which will commence at the same time, so that it finishes at the same time for everyone. It doesn't matter if you are 50 in that test center, but you're going to listen to one clip and all of you will have their own headphones or earphones. Therefore, you will have to listen this tape that will be played only once, and then it takes 30 minutes. And in this 30 minutes, there are 4 types of questions that you need to answer as you listen through the tape. So it will be playing in your ear, and you are looking into the question paper and answering the questions on the question paper where you get the answer from in your earphones. So the types of the questions that are usually with listening, they are filling in blanks, labeling diagrams, multiple choice questions, and statement completion. Those are the common questions. And this, the total questions are 40. Therefore, this means it's 10 for filling in, 10 for labeling, 10 for multiple choice, and 10 for statement completion. So the first section is easier, but it gets tough as you go through down to the last question. So that is it. After you have had 30 minutes completed, then you are left with 10 minutes that you will transfer answers from your answer question paper that you were writing your answers on. You will transfer your answers from there into the answer sheet provided. And then if you don't transfer your answers, believe me, you have failed this module. And the sad part about IELTS, if you fail one module, you go repeat all. That is it about listening. Now, moving on to reading. Reading is another subsection in IELTS. So reading has, in academic version of IELTS, it has 3 passages or 3 essays, but they always call them passages. It has 3 passages, and the first, all the 40 questions are based on all 3 passages. And this will depend on how they split the questions, but the total questions are 40 altogether. And the overall time for reading module is 1 hour. Therefore, you are required to complete 40, to answer 40 questions in a space of 1 hour, reading through 3 passages. So to clarify this, under each passage, meaning one passage, there are questions under each passage. Or the third one difficult, but most of the times what I've realized is you might think the first one is easy, but when you go to the last one, you find that the last one is actually easier than the first one. So that's that. You have 3 passages, 40 questions, and 1 hour to complete. So the types of questions that always come up with a reading module, you will be filling in blank spaces. That's number 1. Multiple choice questions, matching, or yes, that's matching. And then there is this question that is always tricky. It is a yes, false, or a yes, no, and not given, or true, false, or not given. In this type of a question, there are statements, written statements or sentences that you read, and then you identify whether the statement is true based on what you have read through the passage provided. You put your answer as true or false, or it's not given in the passage. So this type of a question is very tricky. And that's that about reading. And moving on to the third one, which is writing. Writing, it has 2 tasks provided with this type of a module. You have 1 hour to complete it. So the first task is the easiest, but because it's a writing station, you will have to write a first task based on the diagram provided. So the first task, the type of a question in that task 1, it's a diagram. It could either be a map, a bar chart, a pie chart, or any other diagram. So you have to write your description following the diagram. After you have studied the diagram, you describe the diagram, the bar chart, the pie chart, the trends into the pie charts, the directions in the map. What you see, you put it in words. what you see in that diagram, you put it in words, and you have to have at least 150, between 150 and 180 words to have successfully completed this task. And in writing, this is where your tense, your sentence formation, use of adjectives, adverbs, nouns is going to come into place. So spelling mistakes, know where to use capital letters, where to punctuate, use of linking words. You don't necessarily have to write ambiguous terms, but you needed to prove that you can write simple and understandable English for either learned or unlearned individuals. But then you have to make sure that you properly have vocabulary, you know how to use linking words, you know how to use prefix, punctuation, tense, and everything else that comes with writing. That's task 1. Task 2, there will be a question written in a paragraph form, and then under that you will be given a question either to agree with the statement, disagree, or give your opinion. This statement is like a debate sort of a question. So the task 2, you have to complete it in this space of 1 hour too, and you are required to write 250, between 250 and 275 words. That would be a satisfactory word count for task 2. In the same way, you are required to show your ability to narrate your story, your reasons why you agree with the statement, or the reasons why you disagree, or your opinions based on what is given as the task, use of punctuations, adverbs, adjectives, tense, and everything else. Mind your ambiguous terms, because it does not test the test does not only test for vocabulary, but they test whether you'll be able to write reports, basically. That's that about writing. And then lastly, speaking. With speaking, you will be sitting face to face with an examiner, and they will give you chance to calm down. They will give you water if you need water or whatever. But with this speaking session, there are 3 sections. The first one, you introduce yourself, and they will follow up with simple questions. And the second section, that's when you're going to be given a cue card. Cue card is just a question, a paper that has the statement of, just like a question sort of information on the cue card. So you read through what is written in the cue card, and then you will be given 1 minute to prepare. So they give you that cue card, a scrap paper, and a pencil. Then you write down your points as you, after you have read in the question statement in the cue card. Then you will be given 1 minute to prepare. Then thereafter, they will click a timer and tell you to start speaking about whatever that is on your cue card. In this way, they are testing you on confidence, ability to form statements, answering questions, audibility, and use of words like vocabulary, sentence construction, know where you have to pause, how you, like, they also test mannerisms that make people's conversations not listenable, if I make sense. Those are the other things that they check. So after you have completed your 2 minutes, they will tell you that the time is up. After then, you will leap into section 3 where they will do follow-up questions. In the follow-up questions, I think they are just testing whether you can be able to engage in a face-to-face conversation where you are asked questions, and then you will also be given a chance to ask your own questions. And that's that. That is how IELTS is formulated. It's actually difficult. Most of the times people find it difficult. Like myself, I found IELTS to be a very difficult English test, but other people find it as the best English test to go through. I don't want you to think you cannot be able to pass this test. And I believe if you want to do it, it's best you practice. Give your time, your give it your all, because if you don't practice, I tell you, I failed twice, but I practiced like nobody's business. Like, please give it your all. All I can say is give it your all. There was one other guy who asked me whether I used any tutor or a coach for IELTS. I tried that, but it didn't work for me, and I wouldn't advise anyone else to do it, because after all, it's you who's going to write. But what you need to do is to give yourself confidence enough to be able to practice enough, give yourself confidence, and build skills on how to beat time, because all of this is timed. So yeah, give yourself time to practice, time to build your confidence, and you will be able to pass this English proficiency test. There are so many types of IELTS. I have a video on my channel where you can be able to identify which one is required of you. So go ahead, watch that video, and come back to watch this one. All right, thank you very much for watching this video this far. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the content with your loved ones. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.